Shalom. I want to start off by giving all glory, praises, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Akakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the brothers that are teaching this truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect, and 1/3, and the sincere listeners. All right. No exact title for this lesson right now, but it's gonna be, something around the lines of judge righteous judgment. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I'm gonna bring out some precepts, and that's just about that. So this is John 7:24, and this is Yahushai speaking. It says, John 7:24, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. And that's just plain. NLT, it says, look beneath the surface so you can judge correctly. All right, so that means don't judge based off of the surface. Go deeper into a matter, right, to get the full understanding and to make the correct decision. And this is Yahushai speaking, and I want to get an account of when King Solomon made a righteous decision, or judged righteously. All right, and we all know that King Solomon is Yahushai, right? Yahushai is King Solomon, the reincarnation. Okay, so when we read about King Solomon and his wisdom and all that, that's Yahushai, right? So I'm going to get this account. This is First Kings. Let's see, I might start at like 14 or so. I'll start at 15. It says, and Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream, and he came to Jerusalem. And stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord Yahweh, and offered up burnt offerings, and offered peace offerings, and made a feast to all his servants. Right? Then came here 2 women that were harlots unto the king, and stood before him. Right? And the one woman said, O my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house, right? And the reason why I'm bringing out this account is because King Solomon, when he heard the cause of the matter, or the problem, the issue, you're gonna hear both sides of a story. You get what I'm trying to say? And that's how he was able to make a proper judgment. A proper, correct judgment on the situation, which I'm going to read, right? But, us being brothers in this truth, we got to be able to, that's how I started off, judge righteously, judge in righteousness, and understand if we ever come up in a situation where we need to judge and come up with a conclusion or a decision, then we need to know all manners, all angles of the decision to come through with a conclusion, not just one side, right? Not just one side of a story or something like that. All right? So it goes on to say, then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king, and stood before him. And the one woman said, O my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the 3rd day after that I was delivered, that this woman was also delivered, right? So basically, these women were pregnant at the same time, and 3 days after, one woman had their birth, and then 3 days after, the other harlot, woman had their birth, right, of their children. Okay, and it says, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house. And this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it, right? She suffocated her child. Could have been by accident or whatever, but hey, it is what it is, right? It was like the ostrich, right? That's the scriptures going into the women that are like ostrich. They don't really give a fuck about their kids, in a sense, right? So that's the scriptures just pretty much repeating itself in actual real time this time. All right, and it says, and she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I arose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son. And one thing about a woman, like, even though these children are very young, right? And they may have even came out looking the same in a sense, same complexion, whatever. A woman knows that a woman has intuition to something. The Most High blessed her, a woman with maternal instincts, right? And a woman knows her child, her son, or through the spirit, right? And especially back then when the spirit was more heightened, even amongst women, so to speak. You know what I mean? When women are even more in order than now. You get what I'm trying to say? So she had some knowledge, even though she was a harlot or whatever. Because harlots were more in order back then than they are even now. You feel me? So whatever, that's another story. But when King Solomon was brought to this, not brought, but when they brought this story to King Solomon, or this I wouldn't call it a story, but this account or whatever. He didn't say get these harlots away from me, scum. You know what I mean? He was a judge. He judged the matter still, right? So it continues on to say, and she arose at midnight, took my son from beside me, while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I arose in the morning to give child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son which I did bear. And the other woman said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. Damn. So the other girl's denying it. So, that saying where they say there's no honor amongst thieves. Well, there's no honor amongst harlots either. All right, and that's why women, they don't really, they don't really get along, so to speak. Women are very catty. There's always some drama. Women that bring drama. If men are not there to diffuse the escalation, you leave these women up to their own devices. It's just going to be a lot of drama in their life, so to speak. That's why men are there to bring order, because men have power in a sense. But because Esau Edom has stripped us of our power, it allows for chaos and disorder. You know what I mean? Especially from the woman. And it said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before the king. All right. Then saith the king, King Solomon, the one saith, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is the dead. And the other saith, Nay, but thy son is the dead, and my son is the living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. All right, so he said, Bring me a sword. And this sword, it doesn't go into detail about what the sword looked like, but you best believe it was probably the sharpest sword that they've ever seen, shining and ready to slide. You see the pointed edge. You get what I'm trying to say? Some serious, machinery in a sense, some serious armament. So you could already see the look on these women's faces You know what I mean? He doesn't say all these things, but I gotta bring this story to life. Right? You could see whoever was in the room, you just see the look on their face. You're like, oh shit, what is this guy gonna do? What is the king gonna do? You know? Because he heard both. He pretty much heard both sides of the story, you know? Which is what a king, a judge, a ruler, a prince, whatever, that's what we're supposed to do. A lawyer. We're supposed to hear two sides of every story to get the full understanding, right? Judge righteous judgment. It says, and the king said, bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, divide the living child in two, and give half to the one and half to the other. Then spake the woman, whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. Then the king answered and said, give her the living child, right? So who's the her? The one that bowels that were yearning, all right? The one that was crying. The one that actually had mercy. She said, I love my son so much, I'll let this bitch take her. I don't give a fuck. Just don't kill him. You feel me? And that's true sincerity. And that's how he came to the conclusion of the matter. Right? He came to the conclusion of the matter by using wisdom and judging righteously and hearing, pretty much hearing the heart and the character of these two individuals. And that's how he was able to come to the conclusion and make a righteous decision, a righteous judgment. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we're supposed to apply this to our daily lives and our walk and in certain things that we may come up across, in this truth, right? Like we're supposed to judge righteously. We're supposed to judge according to how King Solomon, which is Yahweh Shai, would judge and apply Yahweh Shai in all matters, right? And it says, O my Lord, give her the living child, and no wise slay it. But the other said, let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. Then the king answered and said, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. And she is the mother thereof. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of Yahweh was in him to do judgment. Right? So I just wanted to bring that account out, and the scriptures are here. They're here for our learning as men, potential members of the elect, 144,000. And, we're going to be judges and rulers and stuff like that. And we're going to be judging matters amongst the heathen, right? Because, we're going to be employed. In a sense, we're going to be employed too. It's just that our job is just going to be a breeze. It's going to be easy, and we're going to get a full night's rest, right, brothers? We're going to be good, we're going to be good, bro. These fucking centurions today, they got to have, they're on a certain schedule, 12-hour shifts, 5 days straight. Just weirdo shit, and they're tired, and they're all on parole, whatever they do. I don't know, they're all on patrol. And they're doing what they have to do, but they ain't gonna be judging like how we're judging, man. Like we're gonna be at rest while we're judging these heathens, man. These people and their matters, man. Like it's just gonna be a breeze. It's gonna be easier for us, anyways. You guys know what's up, man. You brothers know what's up, man. So just push forward, brothers, and, let's keep the kingdom in mind and continue to do this good work. All right. So with that, I'm going to say shalom. Over you're edified. Into the next.